Give me just a moment and then I'll get the sound going on this again. Just need to try to do a little bit of signal boosting where possible. Let me see. I have one more source that I usually hit up. Alright. I think this is as good as it's gonna get for right now. Alright. So this is Mega Man 3. I have a little bit of time to kill, so I'm going to kill it. And I need to adjust something on my stream. There we go. No, not 11. It's Mega Man 3, you silly goose. There we go. Alright, and I'm now ready to get started proper. So this isn't going to be necessarily a speed run, but I'm just going to see how long it takes me to go through this. Usually doesn't take me too terribly long unless I screw up immensely. Mega Man 3, I can say a whole lot about the game. It's definitely one of my personal favorites. It's not my total favorite, though. The advantages of Mega Man 3 over other games is it was the one that introduced the slide, but it's also the one that introduced, well, didn't introduce, but rather had the mechanic of slide canceling. Basically being able to jump immediately out of your slide. Those guys take 10 shots to kill. It's been a hot minute since I've done commentary over one of these. Those pole vaulting guys, they have one frame of animation where you can actually slide underneath their pole vaults. One of the big things about this game is you cannot charge your buster, so as a result, it is one of the mashier of the series, which for somebody like me who just goes ballistic on that, that works out really well. Ah, damn it. I think I mistimed that one. One of my shots must have whiffed. There we go. That jump is very scary and horrifying, and I will never feel comfortable doing it. So this is around the time that the series really started to catch its stride. Like, Mega Man 2 was the developers of the game really starting to kind of feel the form, but they still had some places to go with it. Like, they had some, you know, some kinks to iron out. They still weren't really sure what they were trying to do with it. Whereas this game is kind of like a more fully realized kind of product. And that being said, you know, Mega Man 2 is an amazing game in and of its own right. I'm just particularly bad at that one. Whew. That was a little bit scary. So Snake Man here is going to get one free hit on me, and then hopefully no further hits the rest of the time. So he's basically going to keep running back and forth and occasionally stopping to jump and throw snakes. So my job during this fight is to avoid the snakes, unlike that, and just keep staying on the opposite side of him. I don't know what his what his frequency of the snake shooting is, but it's no problem. We got him. It wouldn't be a Mega Man stream with me if I didn't get to a point to where one hit was going to kill me, but we still haven't hit that clinch 1 penny yet, so we've still got about 7 more bosses and then all of the Wily stages to do that. One of the other things, this was the first game that actually had, of the Mega Man series, that had a multiple weakness path. In the previous 2 games, there was a very set path that you could follow to where you could basically always be exploiting a weakness against a boss. In this particular one, you actually do not have that advantage because there are 2 bosses in this game where the weakness chains are on bosses that you will not have the weakness for at any given point. There are like kind of diet weaknesses, but those really don't come into play. Like, that was a little bit gutsy. I shouldn't have done that. But really, like, the weaknesses that they have are just not relevant, so it's just better just to say that there's 2 separate weakness strings this time around. I'm going to try to do something fancy here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off or not. Shit. I jumped way too close to that. So if you can actually jump into this scene, you have 1 frame of animation as you land on the ground that you can do a slide, and if you do that, you get to hear the full Proto Man theme, which is just like a nice little happenstance. It's kind of like the Howl Room glitch that you get in Kirby games. Well, rather, Kirby's Adventure, since that was the big one that did it. So this is one of my favorite bosses in terms of the theme of the weapon, but it's actually one of my least favorite bosses in the entire game. At least in terms of the original Robot Masters. I'm just not super crazy about his stage in general. I think it's a nice enough theme, it's just that it just feels really weird. Like, these penguins just make no sense at all. I was honestly not sure if I was gonna make that or not. Ah, shit, I should have kept Rush Coil out. This is the big reason I'm probably never gonna be too big into Mega Man speedruns, is because I suck at menuing in these games. Oh god. There's a real dance to this because those missiles that the fish below are firing will cause area of effect damage that can reach up through the platform, as seen there. That was a close one. And you're also trying to manage the dragonflies as well, who are constantly trying to match your height. Whenever they make their 3rd turn, like they kind of come in, they turn around, and then they'll make a vertical turn, they are basically trying to match your momentum and snapshot at about the time that they start doing their vertical height changing. First thing we need to do here is get out of that corner. And we just throw a shit ton of snakes at him because apparently Laser Man is weak against snakes. I mean, I don't blame him, that's honestly my Robot Master weakness, so please don't throw snakes at me. I would be very upset. So after we have Gemini Man, we can go over to Needle Man, who gives you the most useless ability in this game because he gives you the ability to fire pellets that do 1 point of damage, but they're rapid fire. I don't know why it's useless. Those guys are very annoying to take down, by the way. If you don't, like, have perfect bustering on them, basically, you're not going to get to them in time. A little bit of concentration to get through that. I'm not necessarily trying to go for any crazy speed tech or anything, I just really enjoy not getting hit through sections like that. These ones I'm a little less worried about because honestly they just suck in general. actually going to take a moment to collect this E-Tank. I don't really need a whole lot of E-Tanks through this game, usually, but I always like to keep a couple on hand because, especially the wily bosses, you never know when Breakman's gonna give you a horrible pattern or something like that. Did not realize those guys only took 6 shots to take down. Whoops, there we go. You can do a Diet Skullman here. And he will eventually start going after you. Oh god. This is bad. Oh no. So, the good news about the Gemini laser is whenever you fire the weapon, and this is the reason I love and hate Gemini Man so much, it's a fucking laser. But the problem is it's a fucking laser that you can only fire one beam of and stays on the screen and causes infinite amounts of lag and just... Oh jeez, please. Whew. If you whiff your shot on it, you are just pretty much absolutely killing everything about the run. Still more useful than Needle Man, though, because the Gemini laser actually does put out a little bit of damage. We get Rush Jet from Needle Man, the most overbroken ability in the entire game. From this point, I'm just going to go ahead and go on to the rest of a fairly standard run of this. We could go after Hardman next, but we're going to go ahead and hit Topman, since he's actually the one who is weak against the Buster. Like I said, this is not a speed run, so I'm not optimizing like which bosses I should be killing in what orders and whatnot. And what? I just love his theme, though, is the thing. This game has some really good music, but this is definitely in my upper area of the list of great songs. If you slide off of those, you will never hit the spikes. Oh, that third shot whiffed. Cat that throws yarn at you, the best enemy in the game. Mega Man 2 featured a robot dog that fired fireballs. This one features a cat that shoots yarn at you. 2 of them, actually. So that little section right there is actually ridiculously hard to time to beat those tops that way. The rate at which he fires them versus the rate of you being able to kind of get into that corner in time is a really narrow window. So Topman isn't a tough boss, but he does have a little bit of a trick to him, in the sense that dodging his top attack can be tricky just by the timing of it. But nothing we can't figure out. Top Spin is an ability that had so much potential of being a fun and unique power, but unfortunately they squandered it on the fact that the ability kind of sucks. It uses a lot of energy, it does damage per frame, and it doesn't care about invulnerability frames. So what you end up doing is essentially getting yourself into a situation where you have jumped into an enemy, and then you're inside of their damage frames, and as a result, you're not able to get out. I usually have a better dance with him. I was just trying to not take damage for once in my life against him. Getting a little bit over mashy there. Whoops. Missed the grenade. Whew. Okay. Cool space effects. Coming up is the most annoying section in any of these levels ever. Like, his whole entire level is pretty, like, fine up until this point. And then you start to run into these guys. Which I'm sure I could probably just switch to a weapon or something to kind of deal with these better. But I've died so many times on this part right here alone just because of stupid, like, getting ahead of myself or forgetting that they exist. Now let's see if I end up wasting all of my energy to hit him, like, one time. Well, I didn't die from it, so that's all I can hope for with him. I will never do a no damage run of Mega Man 3 purely because of this boss alone and his weapon weakness of choice, as well as any other boss in this game that is weak to the top spin, which is unfortunately a decent amount of them. With that, we can actually go after Sparkman. I'm going to save Hardman for the end. He's probably the hardest boss on this list of Robot Masters. Another very appropriate theme. I think this level really exemplifies a lot about what Mega Man can be. Like, a lot of the level is just all about just keeping your rhythm up and keeping your pace up, and just, you know, being really careful about a lot of things. This part in particular, if you don't get the timing for that down, you basically take a hit. I messed up my rhythm there and missed the shot on that guy. The only part of the level that really slows you down to a halt is the next part coming up here in a moment. Which, since I have Rush Jet, I'm going to cheese the ever-loving shit out of. Here we go, we're just gonna Rush Jet this. I'm not even gonna do the cheesy strat with Rush Jet either. But if I do these little hops right here, I can actually conserve ammunition on the Rush Jet. I guess it would be ammunition. I'm not really sure what you'd call it. Fuel? And I just pretty much just went into DPS race mode with him. Pretty much all that boss really will do is hop around a couple of times, fire out a series of sparks, and then he fires one giant spark ball at you. And he gives you one of the least useful weapons in the game. I feel so bad for support weapons in Mega Man games because this case in particular, it does little to no damage and is still just like the most useless weapon ever. Like, most enemies aren't affected by it, so what little use you could get out of like stunning an enemy with it is wasted on that. One of the coolest stage gimmicks is in this level right here. I love these magnet guys and I wish that they did more with them. You can actually let them carry you a good way across the little area right here, but that's like the only time that you see them. Speaking of only time you see them, never seen this guy before. Goodbye, missile. I wonder if my microphone picks up the sheer amount of button mashing that I do here. Aw, I missed all the health pickups. And now we get to see the rush item abuse in full progress here. So, since I'm jumping, it's causing it to consume very little to no energy at all as I'm going across here. Like, normally I should have been well under, like, a quarter of energy left because of that. But that is just the sheer power of the rush jet. I think I've made the mistake there one time of trying to slide, and fun fact, it does not work as well as you would want it to. So Magnet Man, his weakness is the Spark Shot, but he is going to be so easy that we shouldn't even need that. He's going to do small jump, medium jump, and then either magnet like that, or he's going to do, he's going to jump into the air and do magnets. There we go, that's the one that I want. Shit. I'm a little bit out of rhythm with him. I should probably just actually use his weakness at this point. I've screwed this up beyond repair now. Whew. I didn't want to die there just because of stupid shit. But that's basically the gist of him, is like he'll either jump into the air and drop magnets, or he will just jump into the air a couple of times and then do the magnet pull. He was just being a particular dick about doing the magnet pulls that time, so... I mean, like, no Johns, I should have reacted better, but yeah, it is what it is. So now we go on to the most difficult boss, or should I say the most hard boss of this run. These bees are so scary that we're not even going to deal with them, because they're bees. So a fun thing about Mega Man game programming in terms of enemies like that, they have a certain area in which they can kind of occupy space. If they go too far off the screen like that, they go beyond their spawning point, but then they also go beyond their range of actually just existing in general. So what you end up seeing is we can entirely despawn them without ever having to deal with them. We kill the first one and then we just run past. If you just keep holding up, you can entirely avoid that bola that gets shot at you. We're just gonna let him just jump around us. And I'm not doing good at capping those guys today. It's been a hot minute since I've played a Mega Man game, so I should expect to be a little bit rusty. Despawning the bees is still possible, it's just takes a little bit of extra manipulating. The hardest Proto Man fight is right here because now he has a slope that he's jumping off of the whole time. Alright, so we should be in good condition to fight Hardman. He's the hardest boss in the game, in the sense that you can literally just out DPS him. The only attack I'm going to be avoiding is that attack right there, which I did not do a good job of. We should still be fine, hopefully. This is actually gonna be really scary. Whew! Well, we're getting closer to the clinch. So I took one extra hit from him right there at the very beginning, so that's what took that from being a completely easy fight to a scary one. And then on top of that, contact damage in this game in particular is horrifying. You know, like, you can get hit by his projectiles, and I think it took off like 3 damage or something like that, like something really inconsequential. But whenever you get hit by the enemy itself, its contact damage can be anywhere between like 1/4 to 1/3 of your health. So I don't really know what the best order to do these guys is, and I actually don't remember these weakness chains in particular, so this is going to be a fun little jaunt through here. So with the Spark Blade here, or with the Shadow Blade rather, I'm trying to be in the air anytime that I throw it, because whenever you throw it normally, it will lock you in place, but if you're jumping already, then it will not do that. Those guys do an annoying amount of damage. So I think this is going to be Airman. Nope, it's going to be Metal Man. Alright, I don't think that's his weakness. Maybe it's this. Nope. Oh man, yeah, this is where the biggest bulk of my E-tanks are going to come into place, and this is also where I'm going to be like the least able to deal with this. Some of the weaknesses will make sense, but a lot of the times they will absolutely not. Now the one I'm the most afraid of, I believe, is going to be at the end of this level. I think it's either Woodman or Quickman, and both of them are an absolute pain. Ah, didn't time it right. Those screw enemies are really annoying because you can only attack them once they've fully formed. And the worst part is that they have a hitbox as you're going through them like that, so it is just the worst. If you just run through there anticipating the platform to drop, you should be completely fine. I think it's going to be Needleman, but who knows. Okay, so this is one of the two I'm absolutely horrified of. Remember what I said about contact damage being an absolute nightmare? I want to be hit by his boomerangs as often as possible. Oh no. Come on, laser. Whew! We did it. We're getting closer to the clinch, guys. Actually, now that I come to think of it, my whole entire playthrough tonight so far has been a lot of clinch kills. Like, I don't think I've had a single free kill this entire time. That's what I get for taking these really long breaks from playing. Trying to do the silly thing. Those flame columns, they actually drop in such a way that you can, if you time your jumps correctly, you can basically jump over top of them. The problem is I am neither timing my jumps correctly nor doing it right. There we go. It's not a big feat to get over that, but I always like to do it. I'm doing this for a specific purpose, although I may have already screwed it up. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get up there. And I probably still could, but it's just not worth the effort of it. Most of the times those question mark things are just not going to have anything exciting in them. And besides, you get a lot more bonuses just from killing the eggs themselves. This is gonna be Bubble Man? No, Flash Man. Okay. I think he's the needle cannon. Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, Flash Man's actually an annoying pain in the ass whenever he gets on top of you. Coil just decided he wasn't going to come out. Of course. Okay, that was worth it. I was trying to wait and see how long it took those guys to spawn to do some farming, and then it just decided to wait just long enough so that I would forget. As long as we just keep this constant hail of bullets going, we will basically have enough energy to get across. Let's see if those guys will give us anything. Nope. Oops. Grabbed the ladder too quickly. Need to be really careful though, I'm running a little bit low on health. Oh well, I might just go ahead and just take the death and figure out what this guy's weakness is. We have, yeah, 4 lives, we can do that. It's Bubble Man. I believe his is gonna be the Shadow Blade. I'll throw 1 at him just to make sure. Oh yeah, that's it. I figured that was gonna happen. I just didn't want to try to, you know, get all the way through that fight and fuck it up and die, so I just decided to see if the standing there and just throwing ninja stars at him would do him in. But now we have a full health bar. Yeah, I mean, like, if I had, like, 1 extra hit, I probably could have got him last time. Get this one out of the way, just because I absolutely hate this level. gonna do something. Okay, I wasn't sure if I was gonna die there or not. I know in some games you can do the slide and then you'll just fall into the spikes and die instantly because you don't have enough horizontal momentum to clear them. There might be a section like that coming up later too as well. Well, there's the life we lost. So these platforms, the moment that you step on them, they immediately get to a point to where they are going to go out from under you. So I like to play these safe just by jumping on them and then letting them reset and messing up and dying because I'm an idiot. Okay, so we'll just rush jet through that the next time we're there. That life that we just regained, we just lost it. Hey, we got it back. Nothing of value was lost. I was one shot off. This part's the easy one. Okay, now we're gonna rush jet it up. And we did it. I think this first boss is going to be Airman, and then I think Woodman is the two in this one. Alright, I can't remember if he's... He might be the hard punch. Nope, not really. No, not the Gemini. What else do we have? Snakes and Sparks. I know Snake is Airman, I'm pretty sure. Oh, man. Yep, I saw that coming. And we're gonna have to do that whole stage again. Alright, well now we know his weakness. We've got his phone number. And since this level's being really generous about... Whoops. Every single time I've been making sure not to hit too far to the right of those, and that time I forgot to do that. Alright, now we actually need to start playing a little bit carefully. Yeah, I was 2 shots off that time. Try to reduce some of the lag here. And we're back at the boss. Alright, let's try not to die to Woodman this time. And that means Spark Shock, I believe, is actually going to be the Airman weakness. Oh my god, I actually dodged that portion of it? Holy shit. Whew, okay. I just didn't want to have to sweat through another one of those. It would have gotten me very low on health, but I would have survived. I don't want that, though. With the Bola guys, you can actually time it so that you can slide directly under those and never have to deal with taking the damage from them. I generally only do that whenever I am absolutely certain I'm going to get away with it, which is not often. So now that we have Shadow Man's weapon, we can deal with these guys a little bit easier. And once again, firing... You son of a bitch. We're firing the Shadow Blades whenever we're in the air, that way we don't get animation locked while we're doing it. There we go. Normally those guys don't give me that much trouble, but every once in a while. Oh, jeez. I love that I can kill those guys a lot easier with a weapon that fires in one direction versus one that can fire in, like, virtually 7 directions. Boy, I'm just gonna go ahead and pop the E-Tank. And pray that I was actually right in saying that I won't need to use that many. Oh, this is Heat Man. Oh man. What the hell is he weak against? Okay, that's it. I'm not making his fight any easier on myself. There we go. The idea of Heat Man is you want to go to the complete opposite side of where he's at. You want to try to hit him as soon as you can so that he'll go into his invulnerability frames, because he'll just sit there for anywhere between just like a second to multiple seconds, and he gives you plenty of time to get across to the other side. Alright, we got one of our lives back. Let's try not to lose it again like an idiot. Whoops, that wasn't what I wanted. We're gonna need that later in the level though, like right now. This is actually one of the opportunities that I use to do this, because you just need to have the Rush Jet on for so many different things in this level. We haven't done Crash Man yet, so I think he is next. Oh no, Airman's first. I believe his weakness is Spark Shot. Oh no. There we go. Not the hardest boss ever, but not exactly a walk in the park either. I kind of screwed that up for myself. Ah, damn it. So whenever I always say that Mega Man 6 is my favorite, it's because it's the one that I'm probably the most proficient at. I love this game. It's probably my second best one, but as you can probably tell, second best is definitely still not a super walk in the park. I will say that this game in particular, Mega Man 1 is difficult because of the fact that I don't think that they knew how to program game. I think this one is difficult for a few different reasons, in the sense that it's programmed decently well. It's just that they actually throw a lot of interesting challenges at you. And credit where credit is due. I am just legitimately screwing this up pretty badly, so... Damn it. I was hoping to get rid of him before he even got a shot out. Come on. The Met Gundams. See if I can get this one in time. There we go. That's how that should have went. The thing that makes the porcupines really annoying to deal with is if they fire off a shot, it will instantly block your shots instead. So it can be really challenging to kind of take them down in a timely fashion. Now, what is your weakness? I bet it's the hard punch. Yep. We just bop him in the back of the skull. Now we have to fight Breakman, the most difficult fight in the world. Oh man, this is gonna be close, I can tell. Oh no. So there actually is a storyline that goes into this Mega Man. In this particular one, Dr. Wily is actually working with you for most of the game because apparently his robots just went berserk on their own. So you're trying to gather all of these elements. Or no, wait, that's completely wrong. You're trying to build this super robot called Gamma, and Dr. Wily's working with you because he's apparently reformed himself at this point. So Dr. Light, being the cool guy that he is, decides, hey, that sounds like a pretty trustworthy thing. Why would Dr. Wily ever lie to me? So you're going around and collecting all this energy resources that were stolen by a bunch of Dr. Wily's robots that went berserk, I believe, is the story. The penguin level. We could punch through a wall and get that, but we're not gonna worry about it. Okay, we're doing fine on E-Tank, so I won't bother with any of those. Famous last words, I'm gonna need them later, just watch. Whoops. Turn myself around. Excuse me. Oh man, a Yoku block section. I love Yoku block sections. There we go. Alright. A boss that just literally throws turtles at you. There we go. One of the lesser threatening Wily bosses in the series. And they start you right out on those little instant disappearing blocks. Go up here and attempt to get this life. And miss up the jump. That's fine. Thought bee dodging was difficult the first time around. Wait until we add platforms to it. Alright, we actually got a couple of them after us. We'll just leave them be for right now. Pun not intended. We'll just do that. Adjust you down there. Uh-oh. Well, I thought about powering up one of my weapons, but I decided against it. Now, if I remember correctly, I always want to use Shadow Blades for this, but I believe he is also particularly weak against this. The trick with Yellow Devil is that you always want to be focusing on the bottom two pixel layers. He does a shit ton of damage, but once he actually is on the screen, he gets a lot easier to deal with. Now this is the tricky one. Oh no. Shit! No, I was robbed that time. That was my one pixel in a dream. Hey, we get a second chance at our 1-up. Plus, I think I need to power up my hard fists again to do that. Okay, we got our life back. That's like the part that I'm the most concerned about. Everything else, like we can recover from it. I'm probably not going to sub 1 hour this time around, but whatever. That's how life is sometimes. Right there's our excuse to power that up. Okay, Rush, don't betray me. Whew. He was thinking about it. He really wanted to. Alright, let's be smarter about it this time. If I get hit one more time, I'm using an E-tank. Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and use an E-tank. I just don't want to risk it. I probably should have just used the Shadow Blade, honestly. I'd get so much more hits in on him. I'm pretty sure aside from Top Man, this is the only other time that we need the Hard Fist, though. He robbed me again. There we go. We got him. I need to start catching up on my Mega Man some more. Oh yeah, we're not breaking the we are definitely going over an hour tonight. Lot of sprite lag going on. That's like my least familiar room of this one. Trying to get my hard punch put back up. I'll only need like one refill and I should be able to kill Top Man with it. Little game of Frogger here. I jumped too high and missed the, and ended up actually missing the trigger for that. So if I remember, he is always going to spawn in the top one first. And we can just do that to him. Once again, you know, I said it earlier in the thing, I'm hellaciously weak against snakes, so please don't throw snakes at me. And what did we do? We threw snakes at me and we saw what happened. Alright. These guys just suck and they're not impossible to dodge, but just beyond frustrating to dodge, so I just literally don't bother. In this room there's actually two of them. So by the time you get to the boss rush, you're all nice and frazzled from that. Oh good, and we start out for the shittiest one first. And I missed. Oh no, he jumped sooner than I thought he would. Okay, that time he jumped where I wanted him to. That's how a little bit less terrible of a run of him should look. We'll just start off using the Spark Shock. Okay, yeah, that's how this is supposed to go. Just hang out here in the corner. Throw a shit ton of snakes at Gemini Man. We're actually going to use his weakness because I don't want to embarrass myself again. And plus, the trick is really fun and novel to show off that you can buster him to death and out DPS him. But honestly, that's about all that it is. Punch the shit out of Top Man because tops are weak against getting punched really hard. Oh man, and right there is the worst thing that could have fucking happened this entire time. That is the worst. I hate the top spin. Please. Oh, jeez. Shadow Man is an extremely challenging and difficult boss to deal with, and on top of that, his weapon, the top spin, or his weakness, the top spin, is such a shaky weapon to use effectively against him. And actually having to fight him is a nightmare, especially with Buster only, which I had no choice but to do. Introducing the needle cannon. And that was the needle cannon. Oh, I need to refill my top spin with everything. I need as much top spin as I can muster. So whenever you die, you start back in this room, and you start back... this is the wrong one, never mind. I'll save that rant for another time. I forgot there's a pre-final boss phase. Let's see, I'll get some hard fist, because I'm pretty sure I need that for the second phase of this. I fired it too soon. So his weakness is technically the, I think the Shadow Blade, and you're supposed to like kind of risk getting under him and, you know, getting pressed. But you can just throw hard punches at him and just curve them up. Alright, so this room coming up, you start out with full health. If you die, you come into the room with full health. So why in the hell is there an energy pickup up there? It literally only serves a purpose of just taking up space. And we'll go and get this stuff just for safety's sake. Well, we're gonna break an hour, but not by much. Alright. And hopefully we can get this in one. Nope. There we go. Hey, I got an almost clutch death. I didn't have a single 1.1 though. I need to really improve. Where's Dr. Wily misspelled? Oh no, it's too late. So this is the game where you discover a very important thing about that red man that we were fighting this whole time. And it spoils it at the very end here, so I mean, if nobody has heard this yet, spoilers, Proto Man is Mega Man's brother. And also, here's another spoiler for you. Grass is green. Oxygen is important to survival. So I really screwed this up pretty bad this time. You know, I really need to do better. I think I've died like... if I hadn't picked up so many 1-ups, I would have absolutely game overed a couple of times on this one. But I kind of got to a point to where I got out of streaming things for a good while, so I do partially blame that for it, but the other part is I just have no excuse and I need to get better. But we did it. We save the world. That UFO clips in front of that tree. It actually looks like it pauses on top like an ornament for it. I'm not gonna let the credits go all the way through this because I've streamed this game enough times to where we know how it's gonna end. It said Mega Man was Dr. Wright's assistant. In Japan, he is known as Dr. Wright instead of Dr. Light. But alright, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the stream. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I'll get back into the kick of things here soon, but no promises. We'll see what happens. See you guys next time.